Hello everybody. So we're going to cover the vocabulary words for Unit 2, Week 5. This week's a little different in that the selection are poems. So we have 4 main vocabulary words that show up in the poems, and then we're also going to have 4 poetry concepts that I'm going to discuss. Alright, so one word in our selection is bounce. Say that word with me. Bounce. To bounce is to spring back after hitting something. For example, Keith likes to bounce a soccer ball off his head. How many times can you bounce a ball without stopping? Okay, so on one side of your card, I want you to write bounce. Label your cards Unit 2, Week 5. Okay. And the definition I want you to write is to spring back after hitting something. Bounce. Another word in this week's selection is imagine. Say that word with me. Imagine. To imagine something is to picture it in your head. For example, Mandy likes to imagine what her dream house might look like. What do you imagine when you daydream? Okay, so let's write imagine on one side of your card. And for the definition, I want you to write to picture it in your head. It can also mean to dream. Okay, another word in this week's selection is inventor. Say that word with me. Inventor. An inventor is a person who makes or thinks of something for the first time. For example, Thomas Edison was the inventor of the first light bulb. What does an inventor do? Okay, so let's write inventor. And write a person who creates something new. Okay, and the last of the regular vocabulary words is observer. Say that word with me. Observer. An observer is someone who watches something. Example: Jason is a good observer and enjoys watching birds. Tell about a time when you were an observer at an event. All right, so write observer. And the definition, someone who watches or notices something. All right, so now we're going to have some poetry terms. And the first one I want to cover is a concept known as free verse poems. Okay, now I'm actually going to read you an example from this week's workshop stories. Okay, it's called Empanada Day. And it's written by George Santiago. And so let's read this real quickly. One bite of abuelita's empanadas in my mouth purrs like a cat. Teach me, I beg and bounce on my feet. Teach me to make this magical treat. Abuelita smiles. Be an observer, watch and learn. Then you too can take a turn. She sets before me a ball of dough, round and golden as the sun. My eyes wide as saucers, I watch and follow. Press circles flat as pancakes. Spoon it on apple slices and nose tickling spices. Seal it all in a half-moon envelope of bliss. Together we write down every step as the empanadas bake and crisp in the oven, my stomach rumbling like a hungry bear. Ah, Empanada Day. Alright, so Empanada Day is an example of what is known as a free verse poem. Okay, you'll notice that it has multiple lines. Okay, and some parts of the poem do rhyme. It doesn't have to rhyme. Okay, free verse poems don't have to rhyme. Like learn and turn, they rhyme. Feed and treat, they rhyme. Okay, but it doesn't have to. You'll read other free verse poems that don't have any rhyme scheme at all. Okay, so here are the basic concepts I want you to know for free verse poems this week. So write free verse poems on one side, and on the other side I want you to write it can have any number of lines and stanzas. Okay, a stanza is a group of lines. Okay, and it does not have to rhyme. Okay, we're going to discuss limericks next, and those have to have a very specific rhyme pattern. Okay, but free verse poems don't have to. All right. So, the following examples are all limericks, and we'll notice that they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has 2 sets of 5 lines, but they all follow the same pattern. Okay, so let's read Cold Feet as an example. An inventor with feet like ice and toes like 10 shivering mice looked at clothes, studied feet, read about cold and heat, and knit the first socks, warm and nice. Okay, so what is a limerick? Okay, so let's write limericks. We'll look at the other 2 examples after we do this. Limericks. Okay, limericks, they're short poems. As I mentioned, each stanza has 5 lines. So in the last one that I read, it has 2 stanzas of 5 lines each. Now, what's special about a limerick? The first, second, and 5th lines have to rhyme. The 3rd and 4th lines have to rhyme. So let's see if that's true. First, second, 5th lines have to rhyme. Ice, mice, nice. Yeah, they all have the same sound, right? Ice. 3rd and 4th lines have to rhyme. 3rd and 4th. Feet, heat. Yep, they sound the same. Okay, they have the same sounds. Feet and heat. Okay, so that's what's special about that. So you can go ahead and pause and write the definition, and then we'll look at the next 2 poems. Alright, so you finished that. So now let's look at our washing machine. Our washing machine is a bear that munches up socks by the pair. He will suds them and grumble as they spin and turn and tumble, then spit them out ready to wear. First, second, 5th lines rhyme. Bear, pair, wear. 3rd and 4th, grumble, tumble. Okay, 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now let's look at bugged. A creature has crawled on my knee. It's a bug, green and round as a pea. His 5 wings are fish fins. He's got teeth sharp as pins. Just imagine him chomping on me. I read every book I see to learn what this creature might be. I ask scientists too, but they don't have a clue. So I'm bugged by this great mystery. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And then you see this gap here? That's an indication that this stanza has ended. And then we have another set of 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's a limerick. Now, do the first, second, and 5th lines rhyme? Knee, pee, me. Yep. Fins, pins. For the 3rd and 4th lines rhyme. How about in the second stanza? First line, second line, 5th line. C, B, mystery. 3rd and 4th, 2, clue. Yep. Okay, so it meets the requirements of each stanza has 5 lines. First, second, and 5th lines rhyme, and the 3rd and 4th lines rhyme. Okay, so those are all examples of limericks. All right, now there were some special things in these poems. Okay, we noticed that some words rhyme. Okay, so let's write rhymes, and we already kind of talked about it. And rhymes are the repetition of sounds in 2 or more words. An example could be from bugged. A creature has crawled on my knee. It's a bug, green and round as a pea. Knee and pea have a repetition of the sounds in 2 or more words. The E sound. Okay? So go ahead and write that definition for rhymes. Okay, when you're ready, continue the video. And the last word in this week's selection is alliteration. Say that word with me. Alliteration. Okay. Alliteration. So what is alliteration? Alliteration is the beginning sounds that repeat. For example, again in bugged, his 5 wings are fish fins. The F sounds repeated. Okay. Is that the only place? Well, how about here? A creature has crawled on my knee. Creature crawled. Using your book, see if you can find other examples of alliteration. Okay. All right, so that was the last word in this week's selection. So until next week, I will see you soon.